Hey, this is Kenny from Kenny's Audiophile Rec Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. As always, please like and subscribe. That would help me out. In this video, I'm going to do a review, give my opinion of this Miles Davis Birth of the Blue, the December 2024 issue by Analogue Productions. I'm giving my opinion of this record, these recordings that were recorded in 1958, a year before the Miles Davis Kind of Blue was recorded and issued. As Analogue Productions Acoustic Sounds 45 RPM version of the set. Sounds spectacular. I also have the 33 1/3 up there somewhere. That sounds great too. But I'm going to get into a review and assessment of this one. This was the tracks on this album, which include On Green Dolphin Street, Fran Dance, Stella by Starlight, Love for Sale, have been issued on several different album issues over the years. And I have two of them that I'm going to do a comparison with this version. But before I do that, I'm going to show you the cover and the inside of the cover. Great, it has a great texture to it. It doesn't attract fingerprints like some of those glossy issues. I really like the cover on this one. Here's a back of the album cover, and the inside, which has notes by essay by Ashley Kahn, the great jazz writer Ashley Kahn. The executive producer on this album was Chad Kassem, mastered by Matthew Luthans at the Mastering Lab. And again, like I said, liner notes by Ashley Kahn. I'll show you the label on the inside. First of all, I get to the label. It has this advertisement insert inside. This has like an old school feel and touch to it, these inserts, because it reminds me of these issues that were released in the past where they have the advertisements on the record sleeve. So it has that old school, you know, feel and touch to it, which I like. That's a nice touch by Analogue Productions. I know it's an advertisement vehicle for them, but I love that advertisement insert as an old school touch. And it also has this Columbia 6i label on it. Get a nice touch they added, nice detail. Now, again, this was issued on several different versions over the years, and I'm going to get to those in a second. Now I'm going to compare it to. As a matter of fact, it was issued on the tracks on Miles Davis Analogue Productions Birth of the Blue. The tracks on here were issued on several different versions. Here's an example, the Sony Legacy version. This 2 CD set, which includes tracks from the album, alternate tracks, and the tracks that are on the Analogue Productions Birth of the Blue version. So I'm going to do a comparison to this one near the end of the video. And the same could be said, the same tracks are on that are on that Legacy CD on this Miles Davis 50th anniversary edition of Kind of Blue box set, which includes a LP and CDs. The same digital tracks that are on the Legacy edition are on that 50th edition version, as well as this basic Miles album. Most of the tracks are on this one as well, although I think this one does not include Love for Sale on it. But when I listen to this album, you know, by the way, Miles Davis is at or around the left speaker. Sometimes it gives the impression or the illusion that he's sometimes on the inside edge of the left speaker in my stereo setup. I'm going to listen on my Rega P8 turntable with a Apheta 3 cartridge. Bill Evans, I believe, is on the left speaker as well, as I recall. And the saxophones are in between the center of the soundstage and the right speaker. And when I'm listening to this album, I love the track Stella by Starlight because Miles Davis is playing on the left speaker, and you hear the echo, at times you hear the echo and delay just move, the sound move from the left speaker all the way through to the right speaker if your stereo setup is set up great and you have a great stereo setup, which God has blessed me with. I love that that effect, and also the the effect of the saxophones, like I said, in between the center of the soundstage and the right speaker. Sounds beautiful on Stella by Starlight, just that presence, that vividness, that, you know, that timbre, echo, delay. And I love the performance of Love for Sale. Those are my two favorite Miles Davis performances on this album. The Stella by Starlight and Love for Sale, because of the sound of his trumpet. He has that beautiful tonality at that time, that beautiful play. Actually, it lasted long during his career, I should say. And on Green Dolphin Street and Fran Dance are quite good as well. This album has this, like I said, this richness, this, you know, this warmth to it. The bass is a bit deep, and some may not like that on this record. The bass is a little bit deep on this. And when the bass is deep, it doesn't do certain instruments any favors. Like, for example, Bill Evans' piano coming from around the left speaker. It doesn't do instruments like a piano any favors, just in my opinion. And also, I heard just a little bit of surface noise on Green Dolphin Street and maybe some other quiet passages on some of the other songs. That's inherent in the master tape, I believe. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, because in order to fix that, you got to go to digital correction, perhaps. It is an all analog production, and you don't want to do that. That's a no-no. So that didn't bother me. Let me get to the score of this album, my opinion of this album, in a second or a minute. But when I compare it to the Sony Legacy CD edition version, this one, Miles Davis is around the left speaker, so is Bill Evans. Where on the CD Legacy version, Miles Davis is maybe slightly to the left of the center of the soundstage, and Bill Evans is around the center of the soundstage. This one, the bass is not as deep. It's almost like more leaner or more, you know, upper register enhanced just a little bit. And that really helps Bill Evans' piano. Some might prefer Bill Evans in his piano in the center of the soundstage and Miles Davis on the center of the soundstage on this one, the Legacy edition. And it's the same for the 50th anniversary CD set. I prefer this one because overall the sound is better. They were able to extract more from the master tape as far as I'm concerned in terms of richness and detail of the instruments, the timbre and echo delay. It's not just simply sounds better on the Birth of the Blue Analogue Productions version, in my opinion. Now, when you get to the basic Miles, this one, I don't like the sound on this one too much at all compared to the Birth of the Blue version. The Birth of the Blue version blows away the basic Miles, in my opinion. There's one track on here, I think it was Stella by Starlight, and I could be wrong. The sound of Miles Davis' trumpets come from both speakers. I don't like that effect. Although on Green Dolphin Street, on the basic Miles version, I think Miles Davis, I believe I remember, is in the center of the sound stage. And that I didn't mind as much. This really wasn't mixed all that well compared to the Analogue Productions version. Matter of fact, I like the CD over the basic Miles version, to be quite honest with you. It sounds better. That basic Miles version doesn't sound too great at all in terms of a audiophile recording or pressing. So if my go-to versions for digital, it would have to be, at least in terms of these four tracks, on Green Dolphin Street, Fran Dance, Stella by Starlight, Love for Sale. The digital version is a Legacy version because I love the sound of Bill Evans as Miles Davis near the center of the soundstage. Overall, Birth of the Blue is the best of them all, at least amongst the ones I have, because, like I said, the warmth and the texture and the fineness of the instruments and the detail of the instruments are enhanced on this LP version of the record. If I were to give the performance a score, it gets a 9. After all, we're talking about Miles Davis, Julian Cannonball Adderley, Paul Chambers, Jimmy Cobb, John Coltrane, Bill Evans. It gets a 9, a solid 9. Great performance. The sound, I give it an 8. Some of you may not like this slightly deeper bass. I don't think this was recorded as well as the original Kind of Blue album, in my opinion. Just the recording of this one, it doesn't match Kind of Blue, just in my opinion. Kind of Blue just sounds better in terms of recording. This is in its own right sounds quite good. I give the sound an 8 on this one because some of you may not like the little bit deeper bass, but overall I love this album and the performance by the Miles Davis Quintet. Sound a 9, sound at 8 I should say, performance a 9. If you have any of the tracks on this album in different forms or have this album, please leave your comments in the comments section below. That'd be super cool. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And props to Analogue Productions for doing something different and issuing these tracks. I should say that. Please like and subscribe. God bless, strong love, and please keep the peace worldwide.